Hello there. First take on a Wednesday. Max Kellerman, Molly Karam, and two-time Super Bowl champ Damian Woody in the house.
What up?
I appreciate you. Pinch hitting last minute here. Stephen A. with some travel issues. He will be with us shortly, but who better than you?
That's what we're saying. Yeah. I really think, Stephen A., if I promise to take it easy on you in a couple debates, would you show up at least later on in the show? Please.
Cats are scared, man.
Yeah.
You know, when you bring the business, this is what happens.
They are. No, we are in good hands. So let's get into it, gentlemen, and we start with those Giants. Longtime Giants wide receiver Amani Toomer says sorry, not sorry, for Odell Beckham Jr. getting brutally honest with OBJ. Take a listen.
Nobody cares about how you feel. Just play your game. Nobody cares about how, last night in an interview, he was talking about how the NFL is against him. You're not going to get any sympathy. You're Odell Beckham. You're on commercials. You're doing all kinds of stuff. Nobody feels sorry for you. So go change that whole line of thought. Yeah. You're a guy that people look up to. You're a guy that's ultra successful in this league. You're going through a little hard spell right now. Everybody goes through it. There's nothing special about your situation. I just want you to play your best football when you need to have it played.
Speaking of giving the business, Woody, he is not playing around. Meanwhile, Beckham vented his frustration to our Anita Marks, saying he believes the game against the Panthers, in which he lost control of his emotions in a matchup with, of course, Josh Norman, has tarnished his image, and blamed the media for not letting that game go, saying, quote, "Football is my sanctuary. It's where I go to escape. It's where I'm most happy. I'm not having fun anymore." Damian, what needs to happen now?
The man just needs to play ball. Listen, I think Amani Toomer hit it right on the head, because he seems like a guy that wants all the flash. He got the flashy hairdo. He has the commercial. He has the endorsements. He's playing in the biggest media market in the world. But you got to understand what comes with that. You're going to have guys that envy your success, and they're going to come after you week after week. And the fact that you displayed that type of emotion, in particular the Carolina Panthers game, guess what's going to happen? It's like anything in football. Once you show something, once you show a tendency, then people are going to keep checking you, going to keep coming after you game after game after game until you can show that you can control your emotions. Here's the thing about me personally. I love a guy with edge. I really do. I love edge. I think every football player that plays in the league is on a rocker to a certain degree. But on offense, you have to play with controlled aggression. And what I mean by that, you have to have that rage inside of you. But on offense, you got to be under control, because you got to understand what the defense is trying to do to you. And what Odell Beckham needs to understand, and I think Amani Toomer said it perfectly, nobody cares. I don't care. I don't know if you care, but most fans don't care. Most fans don't care. People don't care. All they want to see you do is go out there and produce. Now, let me say this. The Giants are not doing themselves any favors by coming out here and talking about these issues in the media. You need to take a page out of the Patriots book and move on. We're on to whoever. We're on to the next opponent. Why keep talking about these issues in the media? It's a distraction. Nobody wants to hear about it. And I know as a player on game day, you see Eli going up and talking to Odell Beckham Jr. He has a hard enough time trying to decipher what the defense is throwing at him, let alone being a babysitter on the sideline. Listen, I know for me, I have 7 kids. I don't want 8. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need an 8th child. You're a professional. This is professional football. Do your job. End of discussion, man.
Well, not exactly. I don't think Amani Toomer said it perfectly. I agree with his sentiment, and as a lifelong Giants fan, love me some Amani Toomer.
Oh, here we go.
However, people do care what Odell Beckham Jr. thinks. People didn't care so much. If it was Amani Toomer, he was a mere mortal receiver. He was not a next-level talent. He was a really good receiver. No, this Odell Beckham Jr. is something different. Actually, one of the problems is too many people do care what he thinks on social media, in commercials. Too many people are paying attention and validating this sense that he has that what he thinks about and how he feels about football is really important. Monty Toomer can't relate to that on an Odell Beckham Jr. level. Damian Woody, you can't either, even though you were a star and are now a star on TV. Neither can most of us Odell Beckham Jr.'s level of fame and popularity, particularly in a social media age, is different than even stars of several years ago can relate to, and even huge stars, because he is an incandescent star in the NFL right now. Let me say this. Odell Beckham, and I feel like I want to address him directly. I get it. You feel like you're playing 4 different games. You have 4 different opponents every game. You have your actual opponent, who's more than one. It's their best corner plus their safety, every single game. I get that. You have the refs. It's true. The ref missed the call, and then you cost the team 15 yards for complaining about it. That's true. You feel like the media is another opponent. Also true. You have made the media an opponent, but I suppose any really famous football player, their every move is going to be scrutinized, though you haven't done yourself any favors there. And then also maybe even the Giants are an opponent at times. Eli, come on, I'm open. Or, hey, I was open. That pass was behind me. I get it. You feel like you got to win a lot of different battles. Here's the problem. All that stuff is true. I agree with you. How are you going to win? Do you want to win the war, yes or no? So this sense, Damian Woody, that he never wants to back down, that he has all this fighting spirit, I like that a lot. Great. But the way you have to harness that is different than what he's doing. You can't win every battle. You have to look at the entire picture and win the war. And his strategy so far has been very short-sighted. I'm not going to back down. After I get hit, I cost the team 15 yards. They don't blow the whistle. You know what? I'm going to be slick and look for contact on the very next play, even though it could have gotten him ejected and probably should have gotten him ejected from the game. He is not thinking long-term or maturely. He's gratifying his own impulses, which is to hit right back. I'm glad he has that impulse, but maturity is about focusing that impulse.
You know, I listened to all this stuff you're talking about, and it sounds like you're trying to have those built-in excuses for Odell Beckham Jr. You don't think Antonio Brown deals with these similar type of issues that Odell Beckham Jr. deals with on game day, where he's seeing double coverage? But you know what? He goes about his business, because what? Business is booming for Antonio Brown. See, the whole social media thing, guess what? You have control over that. You don't have to be on Twitter. You don't have to be on this and that. You have absolute control over that. So when you sit here and say that, yeah, you know, I haven't dealt with that, or Amani Toomer hasn't dealt with that, that's fine. But he brings it on himself by listening to what social media has to say, listening to this person, listening to that person. None of it matters. All that matters at the end of the day, listen, this is a simple game, Max. It's a simple game. Go out, play football. You play the game well, everything will come to you. You don't have to worry about all the other nonsense. He brings all this stuff on himself. If he really wants help, then he needs to, you know, maybe come at somebody and ask, okay, what can I do better? Not on game day, because on game day, each player should be focusing on his job, winning their job so they can win the game. Maybe behind the scenes, but this nonsense had to start with the Giants talking about the media, Odell Beckham listening to everybody in the media. Man, just do your job, man. That's all I care about.
You just said the key. If he really wants help. I don't think he does. I mean, it's like an alcoholic who can't, everyone else can want it for you until you admit you have a problem, and then nothing's going to change. I don't think Odell Beckham Jr. thinks he needs help. I don't think he thinks he actually has to change anything. And the reason I say that, for example, yesterday he tweeted out something on Twitter, a poem, Invictus, a stanza from a poem, Invictus, which is, though he didn't tweet this part, the theme of it is basically, I stand here bloodied but unbowed. Right? I mean, that's like, and I said yesterday at the end of the show.
I don't want to hear any of it. That sounds similar to, like, you know, the things that, like, Robert Griffin III, like, he would always do.
Yes.
I don't. Like, do you think players in the locker room really want to hear about that? Nobody wants to hear about that.
That's fine. That's fine. But I'm actually looking at what he's saying. Whether or not you want to hear it, I'm looking to hear the message he's trying to put out. And that poem is like singing My Way, Frank Sinatra's My Way. You know, I'll speak the words I really feel and not the words of one who kneels or something. He's not getting it. And the reason when he talks, he's saying stuff that's rubbing you the wrong way is because he hasn't internalized any of the messages that he's getting through the media, coaches. Tom Coughlin, former coach, is saying, look, I know he plays on high emotion. He thinks when he's at his most emotional self, he's his best self. But he needs to learn how to harness that, focus it. I don't think Odell thinks that yet. The messages he's sending is basically, nope, I'm going to do it my way. I'm bloodied but unbowed. I don't think he wants to change right now.
And you know what? Doing it your way hasn't gotten you to the playoffs.
Yep.
And listen, at the end of the day, as a player, we're better. The Giants are better as a team when his head is on straight and he's out there balling. But no player is bigger than the team. If you can't get your act together, I know as a player, the way I keep food on my plate is we got to win. We need all 53 guys. A lot of food on the plate, buddy. All 53 guys on the roster, they got to come correct. They got to come and play. I don't want to hear about your issues. You need to check that stuff. When we get into the stadium, when we cross the white lines, your issues need to be checked. I need your head on straight, ready to ball, because too many guys are dependent on you.
You know what? But here's the problem. There was really two different issues here.
Why you fighting me,
that
Max?
were rolling into one.
Why you fighting me?
Do you know
now?
what show this is?
Why you fighting me right now?
You know I love you. There are two different issues here. Here, is this tone better for you?
No, I need you to bring it, bro.
There are two different issues here. One is the on-the-field stuff where you're absolutely right. No one player, I don't care who you are, is bigger than the team. Even if you're the greatest quarterback in the world, and if you get bigger than the team, it'd be Brett Favre at times. It's like, oh, that's not working. He needs... So no, but then the reality is, in terms of the way the team is covered, in terms of fan interest, he is bigger than the team. That's the reality. So those two realities are butting heads, and he has to decide what he wants. Does he want to be a great football player, which I think he is, on a great team? Does he want to get the most out of that? Or is the other stuff more important? Because the fact is he bigger than the team or not? No one's talking. He's bigger than the game. No one's talking about right now, like, we're not leading the show with the Minnesota Vikings, Super Bowl contenders. We're leading the show 2 days later, or a day later, 2 days later, with, not the Giants, Odell Beckham Jr. He's clearly bigger than the team.
So basically what you're saying is he needs to decide whether he wants to be selfish or not.
Yes.
I mean, because with his antics and everything that he's doing, it's a detriment to the team, and it's being selfish towards the team.
And one thing I want to add, that's scary territory. We're leading the show not with Odell Beckham based on what he's done on the field. It's like the Cowboys. We're talking about the headlines and the drama. So that's scary, uncharted territory for the Giants now to get into. That's our focus. It's not what they're doing. It's just all the drama that he's creating.
To that point, this is what I mean when I say Odell Beckham's the best receiver, although I agree Antonio Brown's even-keeled temperament is much more mature than Odell's. But I'm just talking about on-the-field talent. I don't think there's anyone as good as Odell. That includes Julio Jones and A.J. Green and everyone. I think
that's a homo statement right there.
No, that's not a homo. I didn't say that about Michael Strahan. I said it about Lawrence Taylor, not Michael Strahan.
Right. So you think Odell Beckham Jr. is better than Antonio Brown, Julio Jones?
Well, the whole package at this point, I can't say that. But on-the-field talent, yeah, I think he's more talented than anyone.
Well, he could really reach his full potential if he can get the emotions in check, or at least become aware, to your point.
To your point, here's the proof in the pudding. You know what people are saying now? Odell Beckham better be careful. He's going to turn into T.O. You're going to fall down to a guy who should already be in the Hall of Fame? Yeah, but see, that's the point. He's not in the Hall of Fame yet because of his attitude, but he's going to be there.
But they mean becoming your alter ego rather than the dominant player that you are. But I'm with you as a Giants fan, even 100% based on everything that you said there. I'm over the excuses. Let's get the job done.